Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to a Premier Draft of Dominaria, which is back for some flashback drafts this week. Pretty fun, pretty old, kind of classic set here, but it's got some cool stuff going for it, so I'm excited to hop back into it. So without further ado, let's start with our Pack 1 Pick 1, which is easily the Planeswalker. We're going to take Karn, Scion of Urza. Going to be able to give us some card draw with the +1 and -1 abilities, but also spit out some construct tokens that can be pretty big based on the number of artifacts we control. There's a decent amount of artifacts in the set, so we can certainly build around that ability a little bit, but Karn's a good enough card draw engine with a lot of loyalty just on enters that we don't need to build around him too hard for him to be great. For pick 2, huge fan of Slimefoot. This is an excellent mana sink later in the game. I think it's the strongest card in the pack, although we have some excellent black commons here with the Deathbloom Thallid, trading off and replacing itself in the Eviscerate for removal, but I think Slimefoot is high enough power level with that mana sink ability to grab the gold spell there. And Dominaria was the first set to have one legendary creature or planeswalker in every single pack. There's a dedicated legendary slot in this format, much like in Dominaria United and March of the Machine. So that is one of the big things of the format, and a few of the mechanics are designed around that, like historic spells mattering. Obviously, historic spells are legendary spells and artifacts and sagas. It's also the first set with sagas, which are a pretty fun mechanic that a lot of people enjoy nowadays, so brought a lot of great things to the game. For pick 3, off of this Slimefoot here, I am going to go for the Baloth Gorger. It's the best green or black card in this pack. Just the flexibility of 4 mana 4/4 or an 8 mana 7/7. So both beefy game-ending threats. So pretty happy with that. Some decent off-color cards, but they're about on par with Baloth Gorger. Cards like Academy Drake or like Weight of Memory for some card draw. Dominaria is definitely a much slower format than we're used to nowadays, so you can just play like dedicated card advantage spells like Weight of Memory and be pretty happy. Pick number 4, Fungal Infection and Saproling Migration are both great cards for a Saproling deck, and with a Slimefoot, we'd like pretty hard to be that deck. It's also a pick 4 Shivan Fire, which is quite late for that efficient of a removal spell. So Migration, Infection, and Shivan Fire are the picks. Shivan Fire the best card, but Fungal Infection and Migration aren't that far off, and they're the best cards to go with the direction we're on so far. I think I'm going to grab the Fungal Infection here now. Kind of hedges the bets between these two, meets them in the middle. It's a sort of a removal spell and sort of a Saproling producer. So right between the dedicated removal and the dedicated Saproling producer, which is cute. Pick 5. Pretty weak pack, not a lot going on here. We could take a Soul Salvage, which is good in the late game as a top deck, but obviously really bad in your opening hand. We can take a filler aggro creature that's off color. Trapper by far the best of those. Yeah, very empty pack here, not the most excited about it. I'll just grab a Soul Salvage. Unless you really, really care about Legends, Yargle, as cute as it is just not a good card. You're spending 5 mana to get a 3 toughness creature that's going to trade down into a 2 mana 3/1 sometimes. But at best, it often just trades into a 3 mana 3/2. Pick 6, I like Caligo Skin Witch. It's got a good kicker ability for later in the game, and you can always just drop it turn 2 if your opponent's trying to beat you down early. So that's fine. Call the Cavalry is pretty good for white-based aggro decks, though. It's probably the strongest card in the pack. And this is a pack that shows off part of what I don't really like about Dominaria, why it isn't one of my all-timers. There's a lot of chaff. There's a lot of filler junk in this format, like Pardic Wanderer, Aether Glider, Aven Sentry, Seismic Shift, Zhalfirin Void. Cards that are just incredibly unexciting, even if they can end up in your deck and you can cast them and attack and block with them and stuff. They're just so filler and really inconsequential. Now we can take Grow from the Ashes here, which can help us randomly splash in some stuff. Pretty decent to take some Grow from the Ashes in case you get some good off-color legends, because again, there's legend in every pack, and some of the best cards in the set are multicolored legends like Slimefoot. So being able to splash stuff in is always good here. Pick number 8, Yavimaya Sapherd, is incredibly exciting. I'm very happy to see that. We've got a version of this kind of card in most sets nowadays, and they are always good. Yavimaya Sapherd is no different. The creature that comes into play with a token creature alongside it, pretty good. It's funny to see how far we've come so quickly, because, like, remember March's Machine? Now in blue, we have a 3-mana 2/2 flyer that makes a 1/1. This is green, which is like the color of creatures and tokens and stuff, and it's just a 2/2 with no abilities and a 1/1 instead of a 2/2 flyer plus a 1/1. Crazy. Pick number 9, Easy Thallid Omnivore. This is a great card for a Saproling deck, so it's going to be excellent in our Slimefoot build here. The threat of activation already gets a lot of damage in with this card because they know if they block, you can just trade a Saproling into whatever they're blocking with instead of the Omnivore itself. But there's also the threat of activation where they start having to block it late in the game, because even if you don't have like a lot of Saplings on board, if your opponent's at like 7 life and you just have 2 other creatures, any other creatures, no matter how good they are, they know if the Omnivore gets in, you can just sack your board and kill them. So it's actually deceptively good, that little ability there. Pick 10 is not much. I'll just take a random combat trick because we're pretty locked into Golgari now. Now I'll take a Windgrace Acolyte. I've already got 1 Soul Salvage, and you definitely don't want to load up on Graveyard Recursion spells because hitting multiples in the early game is pretty much just game ending. It's super devastating. If your opening hand has 2 Soul Salvages, you just have to mulligan. But again, it is a great draw in the late game, so not trying to say the card is like bad or anything. Pack 2, pick 1. There is fierce competition here. We could splash into Shar, which would be pretty fun, but our deck doesn't look that good at utilizing this ability anyway. We've got a couple historic spells, and we could pick up cards like Sapherd if we're lucky, but I think you gotta be real strong for me to want to splash here. It's not that. It's a little inconsistent. And we have really strong on-color cards. We have Eviscerate when we have no removal right now that can kill anything. The only removal we have right now can kill a 1/1, the Fungal Infection, or we can combat trick it that way, so we're super low on removal. I think I'm just going to take Eviscerate here, but Llanowar Elves is an incredible card. Llanowar Elves can, of course, just get you skipping all the way up the curve, so instead of playing a 2-drop on turn 2, you're playing a 3-drop on turn 3. If you're on the play, that can be devastating and just game ending. You go Forest, Llanowar Elves, your opponent plays their first land, and your turn 2, you're playing a 3-mana creature while they're sitting there with 1 land on their board, and they're like, well, I'm gonna die here, because the creatures are just gonna be so much bigger. So Llanowar Elves is a very good card, but I think we have to take a bit straight there with pretty much no removal. This is a much easier removal spell here. We just take Vicious Offering because it's not really competing with anybody, and once again, Fungal Infection is not really competing with anybody. This was back when green removal was just all bad. We've come a really long way. Now this card would be a bite instead of a fight, where your creature doesn't have to take damage back. It would just be your creature deals damage equal to its power. But not back in the Dominaria days. They're all fight spells that are pretty bad and kind of expensive. Almost all fight spells that are printed now only cost like 1 mana. So, yeah, that would either be 1 mana or it would be a bite instead of a fight if it were printed nowadays. Pick 4, Spore Swarm is excellent in this deck. It's great with Slimefoot, Thallid Omnivore. It being instant speed is also a great trick. If your opponent attacks with a 2-mana 3/1 and you Spore Swarm and trade a single sapling into it, kind of just win the game on the spot. That is the magical Christmas land case scenario for Spore Swarm. That doesn't happen too often, but I have had it happen before. There is a 2-mana 3/1 in white, and my opponent was not happy. Pretty sure they just conceded on the spot because it was devastating. All right, let's grab a Spore Swarm. Okay, let's grab another Spore Swarm. I think that's a little better than Saproling Migration. Being able to play this on turn 2 is pretty excellent. 2 mana for 2/1/1 Saplings is the most efficient way to use this, but 6 mana later in the game as a top deck, getting 4 is great. The flexibility is good there. It's definitely one of these two. I feel like instant speed is just such a huge trick that it might be worth this, but I've got 4 4-drops already. I'm real clumped up high. But if you treat the fungal infections as 1 mana 1/1s, I actually don't have too few cheap plays. I don't have a lot of them, but like by modern limited standpoints, this is nowhere near enough 1 and 2 drops. But honestly, I only need a couple more in this format, so I'm going to go for another Spore Swarm. I'm just going to rare draft Cabal Stronghold here because I'm not going to play Voltaic Servant or Divest. I guess I could play the Voltaic Servant just so we can actually get the constructs to be a little bigger here. I don't think that's going to be a thing, though. Rare draft for some gems. Pick 7, random combat trick, random Yargle. Grab the random combat trick. Icy Manipulator, pick 8? Okay. If you learn nothing else from this draft, if you're going to be hopping into Dominaria queues of your own, this card is the mythic uncommon of the format. I think I called something else that, but I forgot Icy Manipulator was in this format. This card is really, really good, and it's an incredibly high pick in draft because it goes into literally any deck that you play, no matter what colors you are. This is like better than a removal spell because the fact that it only costs 1 to tap means it's a removal spell that you can keep moving around to their best creature if they end up playing something better. And you're like, okay, well, I'll just keep stunning that thing over and over and over again. You can also use it in ways where if you need to try to lethal your opponent, you tap something during their end step, then you untap, then you tap something during your turn. So you can tap 2 creatures in 1 turn cycle that way to get attacks in. There's a lot of great ways to use Icy Manipulator. If your opponent only has 1 source of a certain color, or they're really low on mana, you can tap lands with this too. So you can put a stop during their upkeep to tap their mana before they can cast any sorceries. It's so gross. And it is pretty wild to see it pick 8. Mainly because it's colorless. Like anybody can play it. Pick 13. Amaranthine Wall. Pack 3, pick 1. Second Slimefoot, I think, is the pick when we're a deck with 2 Spore Swarms, 2 Thallid Omnivores, a Sap Herd, Fungal Infections. Slimefoot just looks incredible in this strategy, which is a little sad because Mending of Dominaria is a pretty fun rare. It's good value over time, but I think Slimefoot is just exactly what we want here. Also, passing up an Eviscerate is kind of sad, but we've got that Icy Manipulator for another removal spell here, so yeah. Again, Icy Manipulator, it's not like a mythic uncommon in that it's like a mythic rare quality bomb kind of thing, but because it is a great card that fits into any deck, you should take it very, very highly. Technically, in terms of how good it is during gameplay, it's like maybe a little better than like an Eviscerate. But Eviscerate's a great card that you take really highly when you're in black. So you just take this in anything. Pack 3, pick 2. Ooh, Eldest Reborn is huge value. It's a 3-for-1. Your opponent sacks a creature, planeswalker, and discards a card, and you get something back. It's very slow, but very powerful and very high impact. So I like the Eldest Reborn a lot here. Again, our curve is going to be pretty high up, but that is fine for the format generally. But especially if we get the cheap removal like the Double Infection, the Vicious Offering here. So Eldest Reborn over the very good 2-drop of Knight of Malice. Another really high pick to have mentioned out of that pack was the Skittering Surveyor. That's a great card for almost any deck. Pretty high pick during the early packs in the draft as well, because it makes sure that you're going to have some mana fixing for any splashes you manage to pick up. So Skittering Surveyor is a great card in the set. It's certainly slow enough for the 1-2 draw you a land for 3. This deck looks real great. Real synergistic, real streamlined. It's got bomb power with Slimefoots and a Karn. Very happy with this one. Ideally, we're going to be cutting like a Grow from the Ashes here. Pick 4. Okay, we're not taking anything I want to play out of this pack, so I'm going to rare draft. Uncommon for Vault Progress. Anything else I really want to cut? I guess if I get a lot of 2-drops, I could cut the Cabal of Angel, but that looks quite unlikely at this point. Use the Gorger as our finisher. 8 mana, 7/7 there. Yeah, no, it's really just find a few more playables, cut a Grow from the Ashes, because we're not doing any splashing. And have a beautiful deck from there. Well. I can either take Tachiova and keep Grow from the Ashes in here to splash her in. We don't have any Skittering Surveyors, but only have one Grow from the Ashes, so it would be... there'd be a real cost to splashing Tachiova in, but she's an incredible card draw engine. If Llanowar weren't in the pack, I think I would just be splashing Tachiova. But because we have a pretty strong option on color, I'm just going to stick to that so we can cut the Grow and just be streamlined 2-color. Wow, pick 6 Llanowar. Let's go. Turn 2 Slimefoots all day long. Already got double Omnivore, and I've got a lot of 4-drops, so yeah, another Elves over the Omnivore here. This is a beautiful draft pod to be in if you want to be a Slimefoot deck. And I always want to be a Slimefoot deck. He is my favorite of the Weatherlight crew, my favorite of all the legends in the format. I just love me a Slimefoot. Here's another Skin Witch, nice and flexible. Actually, we probably have enough Sapperling production that Soothsayer actually plays decently here. A 4-mana 2/3 is a really bad rate, but the activated ability is quite good. I think I will Soothsayer over Skin Witch. Cut the Arbor Armament now. 13 creatures, which is more than enough considering, 2 of our non-creature spells are creatures. Actually, 4 of them, 2 infections and 2 swarms. We're playing nothing out of this pack, but I'll take a Grow from the Ashes anyway. Maybe we'll somehow wheel Tachiova. I don't think so at this point. Pick 9. Another Windgrace Acolyte. I don't think I'm playing another one. I think it's just this is the deck. It's this and 17 lands here. Yeah, it's just going to be this and 17 lands. So we just throw this in the side. Once again, yep. These cards and 17 lands. And back to that Dominaria classic, packs and packs and packs of unexciting filler to shove into the sideboard in the end. Although Dark Bargain's a little interesting. That is certainly an option. Oh my god, pick 14 Thallid Omnivore. Well, I will play that. I guess I'm cutting the Windgrace Acolyte then. 0 Flyer Brew. Probably. I've still got so much 4-mana stuff. I guess I can just cut the Dark Bargain. I can hope the Llanowar Elves just skip me up over the 2-drops and not play the 2-mana 2/2 nobilities here. Sure, we'll drop Evangel Acolyte and just be all on 4-drops. The double Llanowar Elves help us get there. Very little early game interaction, but this is the first time in a long time that you can have a viable deck without that much early in a game or early game interaction. So, yeah, we'll just call it a deck here and see how it works out for us. All right, here we are on the play for game 1. A lot of Saplings running around with Sapherd and Thallid, the 2 3-drops that make more Saplings. We are playing against blue-white. They do have a 1/3 blocker, though, so I'm going to play the 3 power attacker so we can actually do a little something here. Instead of a 2/2 and a 1/1 that just run into the 1/3. Thallid Omnivore is a good draw. Macy Unicorn from our opponent. Thallid for Unicorn is a fine trade because it leaves behind that Sapperling. So we're just going to get in there, drop a 3/3, and that'll keep the Unicorn off us if they don't choose to trade. Here's the one flaw with Llanowar Elves. It's a 10 out of 10 card in your opening hand. And it's like a 3 out of 10 if you draw it later. And we've drawn it later, so pretty unexciting Llanowar Elves we're probably not going to dump out for a long time. I actually might play more like a 1 out of 10 here. Because I genuinely just don't think we're going to cast it unless we have nothing else to do with our mana at this point. Umazawa. Yep, drop a sap herd and have the 2 mana up to sack 2 saplings when necessary. Gonna get some big omnivore damage in. Another omnivore. In that case, I think I actually play another omnivore because then I can attack with both of them, and I'm threatening to just activate the one that I actually need to if they put enough blockers in its way. Yeah, I mean, even double omnivore actually plays decent together. They could have a Gideon's Reproach. That's 1 and a white for 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. So I could hold 1 mana up so that I can block with Omnivore and sack in response to a Gideon's Reproach. Or I can just play the Land Werewolves here. I think I'm just going to play the Land Werewolves, and I just won't block with Omnivore if they give me the opportunity. I mean, I don't even have the opportunity right now against Tetsuko. So Divination is the play. Another Voltaic Servants. Well, they've got no good blocks, so they might as well hit me here. And so they shall. It's a very Tetsuko deck. All the 1-power creatures to get through with. Hello, Karn. Maybe post-combat. Maybe post-combat. Probably not. Probably still playing to the board right now. Play land for turn this turn? No. So if I Karn, I show them 2 cards, they probably give me a land, and then I play Sapphire. Actually, Karn might be the play here. Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely give me a forest over an eviscerate here. So I play the forest, play the sap herd, and I get the double spell. Beautiful. They can only hit Karn for 3, so he's like definitely going to survive, and then I can just -1 and draw the eviscerate. Cold Water Snapper. Well, I can't eviscerate that, but the omnivores are too big for that to matter against them. Poke Karn for 1. Okay, I mean, all I can really eviscerate here is Tetsuko, and I'm not that worried about them. So I think I'm just going to plus again.
I'll make use of that later.
Ooh. Oh, I guess I get Soul Salvage because I only have 1 creature in grave. I guess that's pretty good with the Thallid Omnivores, though. I can just sack a Sap Herd and Soul Salvage it back. I have 7 mana, so I can do that all in 1 turn. That's probably the play. Because Icy Manipulator, again, because of the Hexproof, just doesn't matter too much either. And there's a chump. Hit for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, wow, I just lethal them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm really making sure, but wow, is this card stupid. Just like, oops, you're dead, I guess? Oh my god. Alright. That is certainly an added upside of the Thallid Omnivore. If your opponent's tapped out, Sometimes you just get to sack that whole board and 13 damage them. I mean, when we drafted them, I was talking about the upside of like attacking in when your opponent's at 7 and they just can never not block. But at 13, a single one getting in for lethal? Gross. All right, here we are on the play for game 2 with a turn 1 Llanowar Elves. That's always sweet, but there's not much to ramp into right now. We'll just play a Soothsayer as a 3-mana 2/3. It isn't even that much of an upside there still. Hold up an offering or poke for 1? I'm going to poke for 1. I doubt I really want to offer their 2-drop. Cool. Probably should have pre-commented a Valid Soothsayer in case they had fungal infection there. So they could like fungal infection the untapped Llanowar Elves if they wanted. Okay. Oh my god, hello. Well, this looks like a winning hand. But they have a full grip of 7, so we'll see. Ooh, 2 mana to kill there. 4-drop. Now I want to get the Eldest Reborn going anyway, so I'm just going to kill it with that. Well, I guess if I offering it, I would have been able to play Omnivore here, which would have been fun. Quende, Double Striker, I could just offering that. I can offering that and still play the Omnivore. Show me a board wipe or perish, opponent. Honestly, I have enough damage going on right now. I can win the game without attacking with the elves, so I'm going to save up the ability to draw 1 card if they board wipe. I'm going to hold up the 2 mana. Feral Abomination. That is not a board wipe, so they are just incredibly dead. They have to block the Omnivore. They have to block the Omnivore. They're dead, so they take 4. And then I just Skin Witch 2 of their 3 cards in hand. Yep. Because I could have alternatively not attacked with the 2 Llanowar Elves to draw a card off the Omnivore instead of poking for 2 more. Well, they had their own Eldest Reborn. Alright. Show me how you survive this. Then I will show you how I draw many cards. Still presenting lethal, so we click through. Okay, sack that to draw a card. No longer presenting lethal. And then this is just going to die for nothing, so draw a card off that as well. And put them to 1. GG from opponent, that is it. They tried their best, but our hand was pretty absurd, and we drew quite well, so we are 2-0 heading into game 3. Ooh, do we gamble on drawing a swamp? On the play? I don't think we do on the play. I might on the draw. I think this deck is good enough that any hand with like both our colors is going to be enough to win an average game, so I'm going to try to just get a hand with both our colors. That's not a hand with both our colors. Arena, why? Well, I'll keep this one because I can Llanowar Elves into Sap Herd at least. And I feel like that is probably better than mulliganing to 5 on average. A 5-card hand with both our colors. Maybe can't win any game of Magic. Could win some. Oh no. Third green source before a black source here. Super rough on the 9-8 split. But I still have time. Still had my play for turns, so we're not missing on casting something till next turn. Another Tetsuko deck. Pretty cool with the Skirk Prospector. Oh, God. No, Arena just wants to be a jerk on this one. I mean, I did the diligent thing and I mulliganed down to a slightly safer hand that could cast the Elves and the Sapherd. Our initial hand couldn't cast anything if it drew poorly. But we're still drawing poorly. The mull down to 5 is just a really, really painful one. So, alright. It's still probably soon enough that this is going to play out better than a 5-carder would have. With the fungal infection, we could certainly send in everybody, but I think I'm keeping Llanowar regardless. Honestly, I don't think I want to cast fungal infection right now, so we'll just send him to 2-2. I didn't think they were going to block here. Is there a 1-mana trick? There's no shore up in this set, is there? Well, it's Opt, right? Oh no, it's Skirk Prospector's ability. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to just send in the 2-2 and just get 2 damage through. I didn't think they would block there. But if they make the block, I think it's certainly better to actually just use the thing. The fungal infection. Because then we're getting a Saproling and saving a Sapherd, which is just like the max value you can kind of get out of that card. 1 land draw away from Slimefoot plus Activate. So I'm going to play Omnivore first. So the turn I play Slimefoot, I might be able to activate him in the same turn. Gilded Lotus. So all the mana in the world of whatever color they need as well. Alright. Huge crackbacks here. Gonna be nice. Baloth Gorger is the draw. So for 5-6 mana total. Yeah, again, I can't Slimefoot and make a 1-1. Let's just play a Baloth Gorger. 1 mana up for an Omnivore ability if I really need it. I guess we could have the counter spell here, but I wouldn't have any blockers up either way. Their creatures are unblockable. Icy Manipulator. Alright, that's going to be a big deal. Probably keep stunning the Omnivore. Maybe the Gorger. But either way, it's going to be good. Alright, that's the Slimefoot mana we needed. But I don't want to play Slimefoot till post-combat because I'm threatening to activate Omnivore a bunch here. Saproling for Skirk Prospector is a pretty good trade when I'm going to have an infinite supply of Saprolings soon enough. Cool. And they're down to 1 card in hand. They just got to top deck into stuff, and now we have an active Slimefoot rolling out. This should be pretty unstoppable. There's the Sparring Construct. Yeah, they had a pretty cute Tetsuko deck there. Playing a lot of 1 power toughness creatures so that everybody's unblockable. But we just have our strong archetype being strong. Go team go. I could technically kill them with Omnivore, but that's pretty risky against a bunch of open mana. I don't want to sack my whole board and they have like a blink of an eye to put Omnivore back in my hand, and then I just lose everybody and they don't die anyway. So I'm just going to let the damage through. Kill them in 2 turns to play it a little safer. Alright. There's the GG from opponent. Here's the GG. And we just attack everybody again. Tap the Omnivore, sure. Still lethal. Go team, go. And with Slimefoot's ability to drain them for life, we were like well over lethal. Even with the tapped Omnivores, we could sack all the Saprolings post-combat. Get them to -3 there. Pretty fantastic stuff from the deck, even off of a sketchy start there mana-wise. So 3-0 now, heading into Game 4. Alright, Game 4. Got a Skin Witch into a Sap Herd, use the Bargain to refuel and find some late game plays. Seems good. Well, there's one late game play, Soothsayer. Pretty good against late game expensive removal. So Skin Witch does block this if they don't play a white permanent, but if they do, then Skin Witch doesn't get any blocks anyway. I think I still have to just play it now. It's quite some time before we're kicking it. So fingers crossed, they do not play a white permanent this turn. No. Well, I can still try to Fungal Infection surprise kill it. If they don't have their own Fungal Infection. I think, however, I still need to be a little more mana efficient than playing a 1-mana trick there this turn. And this still holds off Honor Guard damage and stuff. Even if they make it a 3-2, I just trade. So yeah, now I can hold up Dark Bargain next turn. But if they put me in a position where I can get the Fungal Infection trick, I can do that instead. Oh, wow. That makes it even better. Now I can just Slimefoot, hold up Infection. Sap Herd can get in here. Cool. 4 mana up, they didn't do anything there. I think if they had instant speed removal that cost 4, they would have killed Slimefoot. But there is instant speed removal that costs 5 in this set. There's the Blessed Alliance thing, 5 mana exile. I mean, Fungal Infection only costs 1 mana, and our 1/3 Skin Witch is not very valuable. So if the Fungal Infection Knight of Malice block happens to not work out, it's really not the end of the world. Okay, well now we know it'll work out. Sorry, Slimefoot. RIP. Oh, they don't attack though, they want to hold it off on blocks. Well, then we can eviscerate it, I guess. I don't think it's important enough to eviscerate. Especially when I have a Fungal Infection that's good enough here, so we just bargain for now. I'm only 1 land away from playing Soothsayer and having the 2 mana up to sack it to its own ability if they use removal on Soothsayer, so I'm going to wait for that opportunity. Okay, well obviously now we have to kill Bodyguard to be able to do anything to Knight of Malice anyway. Just do this, get the indestructible out of the way this turn. Yep. And then take the 3 because it's indestructible, but we could like triple block next turn. No, we can't, because they could still first strike these and just take 1. Cabal Paladin, a 4/2. Okay, that really doesn't matter. I mean, the fact that it makes us lose 2 now and then is the scariest part. But because of the 2 toughness, it doesn't attack or block well at all. I can Soothsayer, I can chump draw a card here. Again, still saving that Eviscerate. I don't want our opponent to end up dropping a flyer here and we just die to that because we've eviscerated the Knight when I have plenty of trumps for it, and I should be able to find a big enough blocker for it soon enough. They do have Memorial to Folly. I can just pick up the Bodyguard again to be annoying. Be cute. Sure. Bodyguard. On like a Bell Paladin? Okay. Sure. Now they have to sack the bodyguard, and then when they sack the bodyguard, I can just draw my card. It's pretty fine. Hello, Karn. Dalid Omnivore is a pretty good one here for the life gain. It's also a 5/5 blocker in theory. Yeah, that is certainly the play. And I have the mana to sack something to the Soothsayer and the Omnivore. Important to note, the Omnivore is only gaining the life off of sacrificing Saprolings specifically, but Soothsayer is drawing the cards off of literally anything. I don't think they really have any attacks here. Yeah, pass turn. Landwelfs. I need like 3 mana up for Soothsayer plus Omnivore sack. I really only need the Omnivore sack, so I could spend 6 mana on stuff this turn, so I could play Karn and Landwelfs. Yeah, that seems decent.
I have faced worse than the likes of you.
Pretty sure we're just going wide with Karn at this point.
Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
If we can have Karn and the Construct survive just one more turn, having Karn turn into 2/2/2s helps a lot. Omnivore's already 13 damage if they don't block it. Pegasus Courser, and this is why we saved Eviscerate, because that would kill the absolute poop out of me. Alright, nothing to somehow save that, please. Boop. We have booped to snooped. And now Karn is 2/2/2s. They are really not getting it on the ground. But I still don't want to hardcast Gorger yet. Probably playing Eldest Reborn next turn. I just really want to be holding up these abilities. Knight of Grace. Wow. A really nice deck. That is the best way to build black-white. It's just all the knights that buff each other. They're very sweet. Soul Salvage is huge here. Oh boy. Alright. That changes things. Now we're back under pressure for sure. That does not help me. What about the next two cards? Does one of these... Well, do both of them help me? If both of them help me, they have to give me something good. Okay, I get a Forest. Next turn I can get the Spore Swarm, and that actually is helpful. That's gain 6 life next turn. Yep. Okay, Eldest Reborn seems the most impactful play right now. But I would just be bringing back a Sap Herd, but clear out one of their creatures. Get ready for that Spore Swarm next turn. I guess the Spore Swarm's enough creatures, they have to start chumping the Thalat Omnivore. Or they'd die. Actually send it here with enough blockers. I can make it 11 power if they block it with their 9 first strike. And we just eat all that up. Cool. We know 2 of their cards are creatures they want to cast, so I think I will tap out here. Because I want to Spore Swarm and then sack my whole board next turn, probably. Or at least have the mana to threaten to do that. But then they'll obviously have to block, so we won't end up sacking our whole board. They'll just probably chump with the Dauntless Bodyguard. Seal away. Ah. That is game. That's devastating. Oh, wait, no, but we make them discard the Bodyguard? Okay. I could still... barely survive because they hit me for 5 here. I could find removal for the Pegasus. Man, if I had just 1 mana up, I could have sacked this so I could recur it with the Eldest Reborn. I guess we shouldn't have played the Gorger. Rough, the exile removal. Okay. I need to kill them faster than they kill me. If I Gorger, they just have 9 first strike and block. I can't attack. They just have 9 first strike. Let's draw a card again. Oh, I wonder what they shall give me. Well, we got 2 lands out of the way. We're closer to the next removal spell to clear out Courser and barely survive. But I have exactly 1 turn to do it. What are the draws that help us? Icy Manipulator is the best draw. Vicious Offering works as well. We just have 2 that work in the deck. There's 2 out of 14, though, is not horrific odds. Okay. I forgot about you. Okay, if they don't hit exactly a historic spell, I think we can win this game. But if they hit exactly a historic spell, then I take 7 and die. But if they don't top deck a historic spell this turn, then I get to Spore Swarm and start gaining life while drawing cards. I guess it's not enough. Wow. Ah. The top deck historic spell for Xaxes. Not Xaxes, but for lethal. That wouldn't have been lethal otherwise. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, I still have 1 draw step to hit the Vicious Offering then. Yep. Vicious Offering's cheap enough to still do off of the Soothsayer draw. Nope. Maybe they won't attack here? They're thinking a lot. No, they attacked. Well, we can see if we would have had it with 1 more draw. Why not? I got the 2 mana to do that. No, land anyway. Dang. Well, that was pretty gross. They had the recursion for the flyer. That was a big deal. We could not dig into our removal for it fast enough. The seal away on the Omnivore was devastating. 3-1 it is. Still don't feel bad about the deck at all there. A loss in the end, but they had a very strong deck. and some evasive threats that work well against us. So, still happy with our odds of getting a solid run in these next few games. Man, what is going on with the mana? I'll keep it. We're on the draw, we just need one green source, and we have it. And more importantly, if we missed, we still have a Vicious Offering and our late game plays, Omnivore and Eldest Reborn. Luckily, we did hit the forest immediately this time, so we'll take it. Take it and be very happy. Let's get our Slimefoot killed. And then we'll Eldest Reborn him back. Oh, he is not killed? He even gets 2 damage in? Yeah, go buddy, go. You're doing your thing. Fire Elemental, just a classic 5 mana 5/4. Well, this is going to be disgusting. My 5-drop kills yours and then does 2 more cards worth of value. We just got a 3-for-1, and that is what is so sick about the Eldest Reborn. We got a 3-for-1 that was mana equivalent. They spent 5 into their 1 card. We spent 5 into our 3-for-1. And that's just the concession from our opponent. Just a curve out on our opponent who got to play 1 spell all game. That's how you can win some easy games of Magic. It is 4-1 now, heading into Game 6. Here we are for Game 6. We've got an early fungal infection. We have the early blocker if we need it. If we can hit all the lands, we've got that incredible Eldest Reborn to top off our curve again. And we're on the draw to help hit those lands. Now we've hit a Dark Bargain, so if we get to mana 4, we get to mana 5. Knight of Malice is the first play from our opponent. Well, we have that same Skin Witch fungal infection block lined up here, where I can fungal infect that down to being a 1/1 or a 2/1 if they play a white permanent, and then block it with a 1/3. Okay, the flyer is really bad for our deck, as we saw with our one and only loss today. Flyers are an issue, but fungal infection can't do anything about the flyer either. If we're really lucky, we can get enough trading going on board to get them down to just the 1 creature and make them sack the flyer to the Eldest Reborn. But we're not really lucky. We miss land 4, and that is pretty bad. I mean, missing land 4 wouldn't be that painful if we just hit something other than another 4-drop, but we do have a lot of 4-drops in the deck, so it is what it is. There's land 4. Omnivores and the Gorgers are all good. I think we're now at the point we're going to have to start trading 1-for-1 into removal and counter spells. I guess it's better to cast one of our instants during their end step. That'll tap them out of some of their mana, so they don't get to hold up a counterspell during our turn afterward. Blue-black, a very controlling archetype in the format. They play counterspells, removal spells, and card draw. So let's... I think Spore Swarm... I mean, whatever we play is probably getting countered. I guess... I don't know. I think Spore Swarm is actually less important than Dark Bargain for us, so we play that first as the counter bait. Because the 1/1 saplings don't do anything against Knight of Malice, and we just need 1 more land is the only thing. Yeah, we're not doing anything with the saplings here. So Llanowar Elves is the 1 more land. But I've got the counterspell shields down to just play a 4/4 and try to use that to outrace them, but then they just have removal and it's gone. Oh, shoot. I really don't want a Dark Bargain. I'm just going to Gorge her. think I'm just not wanting to shoot myself until I know we're not taking another 2 per turn. Speeding up another turn. Ah, God. We need to draw our Eviscerate, and we need it now. That is not Eviscerate. The Eldest Reborn doesn't do anything. So that's a 6 mana 6/6 flying trample. Draw at least 1 card when you play it. That's incredibly balmy. Even if we had the removal right on time, they're up a card from the card draw. Guess I'll die. Alright, that's dead no matter what. Flyers are just very good against our deck, and our opponent dropped an incredible Mythic Flyer to astronomically speed up their evasive clock. That is 4-2 now. I was about to say 3-2. That's 4-2. Once again, the only losses this deck has are to Flyers. Alright, here we are for Game 7. We are teetering on the edge of defeat, but also teetering on the edge of greatness. We're at 4-2 right now, and all it takes is one more win to be in the money out of this draft. All it takes is one more loss to be completely out of it, though. I think a green-black mirror is a pretty good spot for Skin Witch on turn 6. Should be a slow enough game. We don't need the 1/3 blocker early. Yeah, just a 3 mana 2/3, you got it. Four mana from our opponents. Probably something scary enough to eviscerate. I guess if they just play a 4/4 of their own, we have our own 4/4. Nothing. Well, got a soul salvage if this dies. Spore Swarm, sure. I guess I should have seen that coming. We've got 2 copies of that. Could have remembered that card's existence. Grow from the Ashes. Are they splashing? Nope. Just a 2-color grow deck. Ramping into big stuff. Torgar put me to 10 life, but now they have a 7/6? Alright. Well, they did have to 2-for-1 themselves to that. They spent Torgar and they spent the entirety of the Spore Swarm to play the Torgar. So 2 cards worth of stuff to get that out. So if we get to that Skin Witch mana, certainly in a winning spot. I think I eviscerate to really make sure we survive towards that point. But I could try to be on the chump route instead. I don't expect our opponent to have a lot of flyers here. So I'm cool to blow the eviscerate against Golgari. A 7/6 is about as big as it gets on average. Soothsayer's got a scary ability, though. Land. Oh, shoot. This was the turn. This was the time. It's the 2 cards in hand. Now they're just going to play them out before I can make them discard them. Sadness on the stack. We're on a Spore Swarm Fungal Infection turn now. That's their own Skin Witch. That's so obnoxious. If I hit the land, I would have made them discard their Skin Witch and another card. So it would have been like a 4/1 because I'm preventing them from 2/1ing me. Ah. The missed land drop could not have ended up any worse for us. Well, it probably could have. They could have played some bomb mythic. Demon Lord Belzenlock was in their hand the whole time. Now I don't get to kill it. Land. All right. Nice. If we missed again, that'd be really bad, but at least they spent all 6 mana, so those 2 cards are both also stuck in their hand to get discarded. Druid Confessor. Man. So the Skin Witch was the best of the cards I could have made them discard. And we missed it. Sapphire off the top is gonna kind of stop our attacks. Yeah, they can block Gorger with a 2/2, a 1/3, and a 1/1 now, which is pretty annoying. But then I get to Soul Salvage it back and play Thallid in the same turn. So I'm picking up the Gorger and an Omnivore to have the maximum, like, largest threats possible that can actually break through this board. They're just going to chump draw a card anyway. Alright, cool. Gorger sticks around then. Here's Thallid. Here's Salvage. Boop, boop. There's their own Thallid Omnivore. Great card, but they don't have any Saprolings right now. But it still gets those buffs for the good blocks. Like they trade their Skin Witch into my Thallid. Or they trade the Skin Witch into the Gorger, actually. Soothsayer here, so I can eat it in response to them buffing Omnivore, since it'll die anyway. That actually feels like our best play. Because then we can put them in a spot where they're like stacking your creatures so that their thing's big enough to kill. So it's like kind of like I'm trading into something there, but then I'm trading into something and drawing a card. Because like, yeah, since we have Soothsayer out here, my Gorger is killing their Saphard and drawing a card off this attack. Instead of just doing one or the other. It's a pretty good deal. We have really identical decks, by the way, which makes me tempted to hold this just in case they draw into another Skin Witch. Because I'd play 2 in here. Another Saphard, fantastic with the Omnivore on board. The Omnivore and Soothsayer. If I don't block, I'm dead, right? 11 damage, yeah. If I don't block, I'm dead. So I gotta just chomp. They'll be in the exact same predicament. They have to keep chumping. But each of us chumping lets us draw a card off Soothsayer. This is ridiculous. This is just dumb. Ooh, this trade is good for me. Okay, it's just a chump. They want to keep Saprolings specifically so they can gain some life if they need to. So chump with the non-Saproling there. I think I have to play the Omnivore first and wait on the Saphard so that I have the ability to sack my stuff when I chump here. If I cast the Saphard as well, I don't have the mana up to draw a card off the chump. No attacks. Eldest Reborn. Actually, not that bad right now. You'd think it'd be horrible, but just killing a Saproling is good. Just whoever has the most creatures here will eventually win. And Eldest Reborn helps me have the most creatures. Especially because it's going to be reanimating like another Saphard. It's honestly probably better than Torgar at this point. Yeah, weird, but Eldest Reborn just to kill a 1/3 and then reanimate a Saphard will be a big deal here. And I'm just going to hold up the 2 mana to be able to sack a creature on a chump block. I can't attack in right now. I don't have enough mana for my Omnivore to be bigger than theirs. I can only buff mine thrice. I guess they can also only buff theirs thrice because I just made them kill a creature. Deathbloom Thallid is a live draw. That is 2 more sacks for the Thallid Omnivore. But we should still have more than they do here. Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks. I have enough mana to sack 6 things. They can sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to the Omnivore. So mine can beat theirs on the attack here. So they have to just trump and draw a card instead. I do have to sack this, or else they can just choose not to draw the card and kill my Thallid Omnivore, which is pretty devastating. So I do have to force the sack here. I guess since I have an Eldest Reborn that's about to trigger, I don't technically have to, but... I want to really make sure Omnivore is still on board, because if I reanimate it with Eldest Reborn, it's going to be Summoning Sick that turn, so then I wait another turn to attack again from there. Fungal Plots absolutely wins a long game like this. Oh, man. Exile a creature from a grave to get a 1/1 Sapperling. Sack 2 Sapperlings, gain 2, draw a card. I guess they can mill out, but just exiling the creatures for the 1/1s is going to put them ahead on Sapperlings, and it's going to completely counter the Eldest Reborn's Chapter 3. Oh my god. Yeah, wow. I just noticed how great that is as a top deck. Literally just shut off Eldest Reborn. Seems these. Literally just in time, too. Oh, well, they tapped out. They tapped out a green. This is an instant speed ability to exile the stuff. They're going to let me Eldest Reborn? Ooh, my god. Speaking of great top decks. All right. Fungal Plots is a good draw. I kind of forgot we're a double Slimefoot deck, and that we have an even better way to win these board stalls. Okay. That's the concession. They see the Slimefoot, they're like, yeah, that's inevitability. And we're 5-2. It was super close. It was a super tight draft, but we have made it to in the money, no matter what, at 5-2 here. All right, here we are on the play with a turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Let's go for it. 5-2 now, so any wins from here is just gravy. Just the icing on top of the cake. No 3-drop. I'm going to play around Seal Away here. I'm not going to attack with Llanowar Elves, so they can't exile my tapped creature. Jousting Lance is the play. Now that I get to play a 4-drop turn 3, they can go ahead and exile Llanowar if they have a Seal Away. Because I'm going to start beating them in the face for 4, nice and early. Cool, just a 2/3. So our 4/4 is coming in hot. And I think we're going to play a Spore Swarm, maximize our damage. This lets us hold up Vicious Offering if anything weird happens. Make it a 4/3. That's all. Alright, Spore Swarm, we Ice Manipulator, tap it, attack with everybody. Oh god, are we Eldest Reborn them? Sick draw. Filthy draw. Not fair and balanced at all. They're down to 9. They're stuck on triple planes. They're still trying. God bless them. There's the Pegasus Courser. But this is going to be lethal, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nah, it's 1 damage from lethal, but still gross. And they're like really Ice Manipulator. Alright, let's see what they do about being at 1 life against at least 5 1-power creatures or greater. I'm also about to reanimate their own flyer against them. There's the GG from opponent. They said GG, but it was not GG. It was BG. Not really fair. But we take it. 6-2. We take the gems. We take the monies. We draft again. All right, here we are. This is going to be the final game of Magic at 6-2 right now, whether we win or lose. So we'll see how it all plays out, but our opponent does start with a 1-mana 2/1 turn 1, so that's pretty scary, but this is also one of the best hands we've had so far. We have Llanowar Elves into Slimefoot, got a Spore Swarm to go with the Slimefoot. The Spore Swarm's also great against a 2/1. So they're on blue-white. Who plays this turn? See if they can Syncopate Slimefoot here, that'd be pretty devastating. Do I play around the Syncopate? Oh, if I try to play around the Syncopate and they just go land pass, they can still Syncopate the Slimefoot anyway since they're on the play. I think I try. Like, there's actually no playing around the Syncopate because they're on the play here. We're not going to end up being able to pay the 2 next turn, or the 3 the turn after that, or the 4 the turn after that, so... Cool, we've got the Spore Swarm now. We've got the Vicious Offering to be able to attack in. The one problem with attacking him with Slimefoot here would be Seal Away. I'd have to untap and then Sorcery Speed seal away the Slimefoot. Yeah, I guess I can play around that. Every draw this game so far has been just a land, so we definitely have flood potential from here if we hit any more. But if they can't deal with the Slimefoot, like if we don't give them opportunities to use Seal Away or Gideon's Reproach or anything like that, then that is something to spend all our mana into. So I'm going to play it safe for now. Don't feel a need to immediately offering the Academy Drake. Don't want a Spore Swarm here. Syncopate the Spore Swarm. Or do I want to just make a 1/1? I think I'm just going to make a 1/1. 4 open mana and they cast nothing. Really feels like the counter. I even have the 4 to pay for this Llanowar Elves now. Through a Syncopate. And then with that Llanowar Elves, we can have more mana than them in the future. To play around future Syncopates. Actually tap out of Slimefoot or Spore Swarm by attacking with that one, so we'll just send in the Sapling. Merfolk Trickster. Shut off abilities here. And tap somebody. Okay. They're tapped out of blue, so I can Spore Swarm now. Alright, they get a free kill on this Sapling, but it does drain them for 1 life. I might just be fighting with ghosts right now. They're just beating up the spirits. I'm playing around a card that doesn't even exist in their hand. But we'll see. I mean, now they're tapped out, so we can get the Vicious Offering on the Academy Drake guaranteed. Eldest Reborn. That seems a little better to do while they're tapped out. Start up the 3 for 1. Also been playing around the Seal Away all game that they just might not even have. Slimefoot is powerful enough as an enchantment to not tap the Slimefoot. Knight of Nubenalia does not block the saplings well. Knight of Grace does. I'm at 13. I have Slimefoot to gain life. Oh, this has hexproof from black. Never mind. I can't offering that anyway. Yeah, so we just kill the flyer. Now I have double Slimefoot mana this turn. We're not taking any damage. I have all the chumps in the world and I drain them while I chump. And then I just reanimate the flyer, I guess. Oh, I can pick up a Planeswalker. I can pick up Karn. I guess we just pick up Karn and start drawing cards behind our wall of saplings. See if they have charge here. Or if this is going to work out fine. Alright, no charge. It's going to work out fine. The angry cake has arrived. Academy Drake, another flyer. It's a 3/3 flyer. Ah, shoot. Karn is gonna die over time, but Karn plussing still feels viable. Making 2 saps a turn. I'm chumping everything on the ground, and the Academy Drake's only hitting for 3 in the sky. I think I'm just Karning. Pray that it's 2 non-lands. Let's go, 2 non-lands. They definitely give me fungal infection. Soul Salvage looks great right now. Oh wait, no, there's only 1 creature in my grave. Never mind. It might give me Soul Salvage. The creatures are all in their graveyard. They do give me the fungal infection. Cool. So just poke Karn with the Drake and that's it. Would be my guess. No, Knight of Grace can still do things. We have to chump Knight of Grace every turn, but the Marshal can't get in. Oh, poke my face. Blessed Light, Exile, Slimefoot. That's rough. Oh, I should have tapped a Llanowar Elf so I could fungal this turn if I needed to, but it actually does anything there. Exiled card is Soul Salvage, but my Slimefoot's exiled, so Soul Salvage just picks up Soothsayer. Basically taps out for it. 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. 2 from the elves. I could chump draw a card if I hit the Soothsayer here. Probably better than the double blind because the odds of hitting 1 land off the plus is kinda high.
The time has come.
Get a fungal infection and a draw card chump now. And I'm set up to draw a card off every chump block. Chump. Draw. Snap Herd. Yeah, I mean, I've got everything in the world to stop stuff on the ground, but this just might be the 3 for 3 of dying to flyers. Ooh, maybe not. Not when the Iceman cometh.
Say hello to my little friend.
Iceman has arrived. Okay, if I attack with Soothsayer, even with Fungal Infection up, they just sack the Memorial to Glory. They get 2/2/2 soldier tokens and double block the Soothsayer, and that is quite bad for me, so we still don't have any attacks. Unless I Icy Manipulator the Marshal, but I need to be focused on stopping the Academy Drake from hitting me. And even if I Ice Manipulator the Marshal, they still have the 2/2/2s, so I'm only getting in like with 2 Llanowar Elves and letting them kill Soothsayer, or 1 Soothsayer and letting them kill 2 Llanowar Elves. Another land for us. Plus the Karn.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
Alright, and our opponent has just roped out of the game. They closed arena, they left the room. They had something come up, or they were tired of playing with Karn. I guess by extension, they were tired of playing with me. Fair enough. But we will take the victory. We are 7-2. To end this draft off, that is the perfect record. You get to play as many games as possible with your deck, and you get to get the maximum prize out. So we're very happy with that one. This was a sweet, sweet deck. Very simple draft. We took a Slimefoot early, and green and black were more than open enough to get all of the great Sapperling cards to go with the Slimefoots. So we had an excellent core to the deck with a lot of high power level cards and a lot of synergy. Some great removals, some great Sapperling synergy stuff. And we got bombs like Karn. Eldest Reborn kind of counts as a bomb. Slimefoots count as bombs. These cards were excellent. And the Ice Manipulator helping tag along as our kind of removal spell bomb sort of thing. I guess if you count Eldest Reborn as like a removal spell bomb, Gown Ice Manipulator with that. So, yeah. Sweet, sweet deck. Sweet, sweet run. Grab our 2,200 gems and 6 packs for maximum prize out today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.